Greetings folks. Today on my bench I have an Elgin Gr387. Nothing special about this particular movement, though having been fitted with 17 jewels, it would be considered a higher end timepiece. At this point I am unable to check the accuracy of this watch because it doesn't wind. My plan here is to do a full restoration with some additional decorating. With over 357,000 pieces produced, it isn't a rare grade, therefore I'll allow myself a bit of artistic license, as they say, and slightly dress it up. I'll strip the movement down to the last screw, lap the screws, remove any screwdriver burr, polish them, and then blue all the screws using a hot plate. I will also polish the regulator and blue that as well. I will replace the broken mainspring, assuming that's what the problem is, and correct any additional faults that we find along the way. And finally, I'll find a dial and hands. So with that said, let's get to work. The disassembly process is like any other. I remove the balance and check for any obvious problems. Next, I remove the hour wheel, as well as the cannon pinion. The cannon pinion is removed with the cannon pinion remover. This is a very handy tool, and with enough patience you can find one on eBay for a good price. I remove the case screws, followed by the click, crown wheel, and ratchet wheel screws. Once the screws are removed, I proceed with the removal of the click and the wheels. As always, I check for wear and tear in the mainspring arbor, as it sits in the mainspring bridge. It's hard to see how much play there is without any magnification, so I take a closer look under the microscope. This definitely shows a lot of wear and will need to be dealt with at a later time. The last thing to be removed from the barrel bridge is the click spring. Once all the barrel bridge parts are gone, I remove the train bridge as well as the barrel bridge. Next, we remove all the wheels. If you look closely at that mainspring barrel, you can already see why I wasn't able to wind the watch. Now that all the wheels are removed from the movement, I remove the pallet as well as the pallet cock. This is followed by the disassembly of the keyless works. The top of the movement holds the setting cam and setting lever. Turning the movement over to the dial side, I remove the setting spring, the clutch, and the setting spring cam. Finally, I remove the minute wheel clamp and the minute wheel. And also the bottom balance hole and cap jewels. I peg the jewels with pegwood to remove any solidified remnants of previous lubricants. Figures. Someone had poached the mainspring from this movement. Let's closely inspect the jewels under the microscope. We're looking at the bottom jewels for the third, fourth, and escape wheels, as well as the pallet jewels. The fourth wheel bottom jewel has some minor warping around the hole, and will need to be replaced. The third wheel bottom jewel looks good. The escape wheel bottom jewel looks okay, though far from perfect. The pallet jewel has severe warping around its hole, and it may contribute to poor amplitude. And as expected, the center wheel jewel looks good. On the train bridge, the escape wheel jewel is not good. The fourth wheel jewel is not good. And the third wheel jewel is not good. My luck. Having done a bit of research, I learned that all three top jewels are compatible with Gr387, and I have a couple of those lying around in the parts bin. So I will swap them out and test the train of wheels for unimpeded movement. Here is the train bridge from my Gr387 donor watch, and it seems like all three jewels on this movement are undamaged. I'm sizing the pivots in the donor jewels, and it looks like the third wheel fits. So does the fourth wheel. The escape wheel, however, is too tight to freely turn in the donor jewel. This is further confirmed by a closer look under the microscope. To remedy this, I will file and burnish the pivot using the J-Cut tool. I don't need to remove a whole lot of the pivot's surface because the pivot does fit in the new jewel. It's just that the fit is too tight. Another check with the wheel properly fitted to the main plate and the train bridge confirms that the pivot has been reduced to the correct size. Next, I remove the jewel setting screws to get them out of the way so that I can polish the brass settings and restore their shine with some fine diamond paste and gentian wood. Once finished, you can see the drastic difference in the polished jewel settings. Next, I disassemble the balance. The balance wheel is removed by disconnecting the hairspring stud from the balance cock. The top balance hole and cap jewels are removed. A quick inspection of the balance jewels through the loop. The regulator is removed, followed by the index and the regulator nut and screw. Let's polish and restore the screws. For that, I reach for my screw head polisher. The screw is placed in a collet, and then inside a holder, which is secured by tightening a tension rod. The iron lap gets a layer of stock removal diamond paste, so that all imperfections, scratches, and screwdriver burr are removed from the screw head prior to polishing. The lap and the spindle are turned in opposite directions. Here is the screw after all the screwdriver burr and scratches have been removed. From here, I gradually move on to finer and finer polishing pastes until the final 0.25 micron finishing compound. On the brass wheel, I start with 3000 grit 5 micron paste. These flossing plackers are a great way to clean the polishing compound from the screwhead slots. And here on the wooden wheel, I begin with 8000 grit 1 micron polishing paste. Once the screws have been polished and thoroughly cleaned, I place them on my brass heating plate and then on top of the hot plate for bluing. Here is sped up footage which illustrates the bluing process. Some screws had minor imperfections which can be seen here, so I ended up repolishing them and bluing them again as well. The index is in a very poor condition. I'm going to give it a quick polish with diamond paste. I won't spend too much time on it, I just want to bring it back to a decent condition without removing every single hairline scratch, as this is very time consuming. So I'm going to end part 1 here. Hope to see you in part 2, where I fix the remaining issues and reassemble the movement. Thanks for watching. Cheers.